School's out and the holidays on. But with COVID cases rising, will schools stay shut and move lessons online after Christmas? Most parents in Stroud hope not. Homeschooling was hard enough first time round.
We've already seen a huge disruption to learning and our ability to work as parents. Children off school is just hugely impacted.
I love for the kids to go to school, but if it's a bit risky or if it's quite more serious than now what we got, I think stay home might be another option, but let's see how it's going.
They've been working so hard to keep everyone safe, so we kind of trust them with that, but if it got to a point when it was ridiculous, then obviously I suppose it would be better that they shut, but initially I think testing would be a better way forward.
Secondary schools in England are staggering their start in January, partly to accommodate the rollout of ramped-up testing. That's because COVID rates are highest in school-age students. This might be driven by a new variant of the virus, which could spread more easily in children.
What do we know about the variant and the implications of it for children?
There is a concern that if this really is replicating or growing better in children, that it could have a knock-on effect and the spread of the virus throughout the entire population of the UK. So we do need to be very aware of that and wait for some more data about the implications for children and infectivity.
Teaching unions want schools shut until testing is safely established, but even then it might not be enough to stop the spread. No one wants classrooms closed for long, but those governing schools warn increasing infections are likely to disrupt the start of term.
We need to be prepared for a scenario whereby it's not possible for schools to open or open fully, either from the 4th or the 11th of January, as committed as schools and school leaders are to keeping schools open and maintaining the continuity of education.
For now, no decisions from the government. Committed to keep schools open, but also struggling with a significant surge in cases. It is an unsettling time for parents and teachers, and the uncertainty offering neither comfort nor joy as Christmas approaches.
By the government last Friday week and did further work with academic partners looking at modelling and understanding the virus compared to other variants that are circulating, of which there are many. And found that this week that with all the evidence stacking up, that this variant was much more transmissible than the other variants in circulation, and that made us hugely concerned and notified government on Friday. It's been detected in many other parts of the country. Every region has cases, but with very small numbers. It's also been detected in Wales, in Scotland. We've not yet detected in Northern Ireland, but whole genome sequencing has not been performed on very many specimens. What we know is that the more cases that we have in the community of this virus, the more cases we're seeing in hospital. But we're not seeing a disproportionate number of people being admitted to hospital over the last 2 weeks. And we're not seeing any increases in mortality yet.
The new strain that is helping the virus to spread more rapidly than before is something we can't ignore. We know it's seeded right across Wales. We know we've got cases surging in northeast Wales and right across the south. We know we're over a third above our normal critical care capacity, and on confirmed positive COVID cases within our NHS here in Wales, we're at where the reasonable worst case scenario predicted we could be at Christmas Day with 1,500 beds. So we've reached the reasonable worst case scenario point 6 days early. I do think, though, it was unfortunate to talk about criminalising Christmas just a few days ago when there was some straightforward criticism of where we were in Wales, having changed our approach to the rules. But you've got to be able to act on the basis of the evidence in front of you. And that does mean you need to move on from positions you've taken previously. It's why when I've done interviews, not just for yourself, but for others, I've always said we may need to behave differently in the future. So I've never given absolute guarantees there'll be no movement away from anything, because coronavirus will make a mug of you if you try to do.
Firstly, Orkney, Shetland, the Western Isles and the other relatively remote islands that have seen restrictions relaxed in recent weeks will move to level 3 from 1 minute past midnight on Boxing Day. However, the rest of Scotland will move at that point to level 4 for a period of 3 weeks. There will be a review after 2 weeks. As more evidence of the impact of this new strain becomes available, we will consider whether there is a need to strengthen level 4 restrictions any further. Again, I need to be blunt with Parliament and the public. The current level 4 restrictions are not as stringent as the March lockdown, and that up until now has been a good thing. However, it does seem that we may be facing a virus that spreads much faster now than in March. So we do need to consider whether the current level 4 restrictions will be sufficient to suppress it in the weeks ahead. I can't tell you how sorry I am to be standing here saying these things, and there is no part of me oblivious to the impact of this. I don't just understand that impact, I feel that impact as everybody else does. But this is necessary to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe at this extremely difficult and challenging time.
COVID-19 remains highly contagious, and even people without symptoms are spreading it. So we need to keep washing our hands, wearing our face coverings, and making space for each other. And now we're indoors more. We should let fresh air in to help blow COVID-19 particles away. Let's keep doing all we can to help stop the spread. Remember, hands, face, space, and let fresh air in.